Hello. Today I am going to be making a leftover meal. So I'm just going to be using, like, we're on a budget and we had so many leftovers from last week. These are the vegetables that if I don't use them today, they're going to go in the trash. And I do not want to be a wasteful person. So here I am. I think I had three little carrots left from, I think I was going to make a juice, and then my daughter also used them in a recipe, and then we only ended up having three left. I obviously took off the parts that were ugly, and I think you guys saw those in the beginning. And I also am just peeling them because they're not that fresh, obviously. Like I said, these are from last week. But believe it or not, this meal, even though these are like older vegetables, this meal turned out so flavorful. I actually had two plate, and I really want a third, but I'm trying not to overeat, but also I don't really need it. But here I am just slicing this big old carrot into as little pieces as I can. I was trying to first, I don't know if you saw me, but I tried to cut it in half first so I could just make smaller pieces. It didn't work, so I just went ahead and sliced them. At the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with a mouthful of carrots. And these are the potatoes. I think I had four medium-sized red potatoes, and you could see those little things, those little sprouts start to come out of it. Pardon me. But I just went ahead and I just peeled them all off. So I went ahead and I just peeled all of the potatoes, took off all the little sprouts. I don't care if it reduced it, because at the end of the day, I'm just trying to cook this so that they don't go to waste, and also so I can have a few extra dollars in my pocket. Summer's around the corner, and we gotta have that summer fun money. Here I am just dicing up these little potatoes, and honestly, if you have any like leftover like celery or peppers or any vegetable that you might have, even sweet potatoes, I don't know, any leftover vegetable that you had, this is a great dish to make it in. It's very, very flavorful. Honestly, just about anything can be salvaged with good seasonings and good herbs and good spices. And I did not do any grocery shopping because I really did want to use everything as much as I could that I already had. So I found these fire roasted diced tomatoes, and then I also found some leftover chopped onion. And I'm gonna do a really big batch of rice, guys, because it's so many vegetables. I'm gonna do 3 whole cups of dry rice. So what I'm gonna do here is you have to double the liquid of how much dry ingredients you have for your rice. So how much dry rice you have. So I have three. I'm gonna do 3 cups of dry rice. That means I have to put 6 cups of liquid in this little thing I'm doing, in this little broth that I'm making. And if you have broth instead of water, you could go ahead and use that. I'm using what I have on hand. I have water and I have some bouillon. I've got peppercorn. You guys know, if you've seen my other videos, I love my peppercorn medley. I had a little bit of garlic and herb, salt-free seasoning. I added the salt as well. And now I'm just making sure it's very nicely seasoned. And this is the broth that I'm making for the rice. If you've seen my other videos of how I make Mexican rice, this is very similar. So now I want to make sure that the whole bottom of the pan has enough rice to cover it in order to fry 3 whole cups of dried rice. And I really wanted to use that last little bit because I think it was about a cup, but I didn't want to do it. I'm glad I didn't do it because it would have not fit once it was over with. Once I finished the meal, it was just gonna, once it expanded, it was gonna be way more than the pot can take. So 3 was just perfect for this size pot. And here I am, I fried it until it's nice and brown. Now I'm adding those 6 cups of liquid. And see how it barely got there. If I had like made more rice and added more liquid, it would have not have worked. But it worked perfect. And here I am adding all the potatoes and the carrots. I had a lot of potatoes, guys. Can you see? And I really only wanted to add 1 cup of this frozen corn that I had. But my daughter really said, are you really only going to add 1 cup of the best thing in there? So I went ahead and I added 2 cups of corn, and she was very happy. You got to do what the princess says. And here I am, while that I wait for that rice to start boiling, I am washing 2 cups of black beans, and I just saw this as an opportunity to use my cast iron skillet that I love. So I took it out of the oven and I washed it for you guys. You're not really supposed to be too crazy with washing these. Just a little bit of warm water, soap, and a brush, and it will be ready to use. As you know, cast iron skillets cannot be soaked, so as soon as you wash it, they do have to be immediately dried, which it was. I dried it with a paper towel, and then I dried it with the heat, and then I added, of course, a little bit of that oil to just cover the bottom, and then I added the beans once it was hot enough. Now I'm going in with my seasonings, guys. Just about 1 teaspoon of salt. I love making these beans. They always come out so flavorful. And then just a few little turns of the peppercorn medley. And I'm going to add a little bit of this leftover onion. I really will not be probably using this type of onion again. I really did not like it that much, to be honest with you. I definitely do prefer fresh onion, but fresh onion could just be so difficult to chop. So we did the pre-packaged one, and I'm not a fan of it. But this oregano it's such a game changer. If you don't use oregano in your black beans, you're missing out. It is just such a delicious flavor. And of course, I added the garlic salt, and then I went in with a small can of green chilies for added flavor, especially because I was not going to make a sauce or anything. And now our delicious rice is ready, and it was so good. It was such a great mixture, and I'm curious if you guys are going to use this idea for any of your guys' leftover vegetables. This can easily be made vegetarian if you just skip the chicken bouillon. It was so good, so flavorful, and I'm curious as to what you guys make for your meals when all you can use is just your leftovers. Put it in the comments. She get another story. See ya. She always start with baby, don't worry.